out. I should probably add me back on this screen because, like, I'm there, but I'm not there. I'm tiny. I'm a little tiny. Okay, here we are. So now we're live. So don't say anything that'll get yourself fired or canceled. Because now it's all there.
Mantra.
It's
try not to
all that. That's why I was kind of bummed when the other three had to back out, because I was like, we don't have to talk about anything that might be sensitive information, because I'm aware that that's a problem for like any company. It's like, okay, let's not do that. But sometimes it happens, right? Like you get caught in that one moment and your boss is like,
yeah, well,
I've all been there.
I am my own boss. So
yeah, that's why I was like, we shouldn't have that problem with you.
Does happen a lot.
Yeah. Sorry to everybody who's just popping in and everything now. Sorry that was a little bit late. We were trying to like scramble together the last bit of this stream and what we were trying to get everything set up. So for those who didn't see I pinned a comment talking about it in very brief, but basically David, Robert, and Obi can't be here today. There was a problem on their side and they just can't be here. We're going to look at rescheduling that later. We don't not want to do that, but we have to do this today. So maybe Adam can join us the next time. It'll kind of depend on how the schedule is, but we will get there.
I'm easy. You tell me when and where and I'll be there.
Yeah. Actually, as long as it's
not any day, but most days I can show up.
Like
actually,
just
that'll be this weekend.
I saw that. I was like, oh, they just
yeah. I love hanging out with that dude. We have a good time. Had drinks and did a show, the whole thing, and it was an interesting experience to put together so many other composers' work.
Yeah.
And a lot of the guys weren't there, but since I keep in close contact with Obi, I just reached out and invited him to come hang out, and he did, and then we enjoyed the bar after, and it was great.
Yeah, it's always good to, like, when I saw like him on pictures, like I didn't know he was there until I saw like your Instagram stories, and I was like, oh hey, I mean, like they just caught up, and then we're gonna catch up again in a few days. Unfortunately, that didn't happen, but it's just it's more the bummer that like everything was set up and I thought we were like all good to go, and it's just like, now come on.
Yeah, no, I understand.
Yeah.
Everybody's got, lots of things going on, but
yeah, like nothing in life is perfect, so it's just like, yeah, we're gonna deal with what we've got and try our best.
Except McDonald's French fries, dude. Those are
consistently brilliant.
I mean, arguably In and Out, but we
don't have that here, so I can't even.
My daughter thinks the one by us makes shitty French fries, but what? I've never really met a French fry I don't like, so I'm good.
Yeah,
a long week, man. I'm like super delirious right now. I'm trying to recover from that show, which was like a long day of rehearsals on Friday, and then Saturday, another long day. We had our tech in the morning and live stuff at night, but I just turned in a couple of actually a really big song for Ark Knights that I'm super excited for you to hear.
Sweet.
It's different than anything I've done for them so far.
Ooh, a tease?
I don't know if that's good or bad. It could be terrible. That could be really bad.
Yeah, I mean, I just heard the one that you did for the most recent released event. Like, I just did a bit. Oh, God, the name of it. I know somebody in chat knows, but I'm not going to try to bug them. Somebody in my Q&A group asked. I've got to open it up and remember the title. Hopefully that is there. Underneath the Sanctuary. That one.
So I was kind of bummed because our timeline on that did not allow me to do anything live. So I was trying to do like real guitars. I was going to sing and like do a layer of live drums over it. And even the vocal chopping that I had done, that was all meant to be just like temporary. And then they're like, we love it. Send us the stems. And I'm like, what the fuck? Really? Wow. So it was a little bit of a curveball, but that just goes to show you that, I need to probably pay better attention to my demo production quality, because you never know. We did a Disney show like 2 years ago, and I had pitched a song for it, and they told me, oh, we're not going to use your song for the parade. I'm like, okay, no worries, because with those Disney things, it's like a shootout, right? I write a song, and then other guys write a song, or gals, and then they pick the one that they like the best. I get paid for the demo, but not always for the final song. And then when they pay you for the final song, you get the royalties. Anyway, long story short, I got a call like a month before the show opened. It was a Halloween show, and they're like, hey, that demo that you did, though, we want it for the pre-show. So we're going to pay you for it. Just send us your demo. And I'm like, oh, man. Like, a bunch of those background vocals were mine and needed to be tuned and all this stuff. But they're like, no, it's great. Just send it. I'm like, okay. So I gave it to God, and there over the hill in Tokyo, where it lived and thrived for the month of Halloween.
Nice. I've always found that weird how like the process will go of just like, I mean, I've never been in it myself, but I've seen people, talk to people who've been in that, where it's just like, hey, we're going to send off this thing, and if I get paid, it's just kind of up to the gods, you know, like the music gods that decide to choose who's the best. It's like a constant game of like American Idol, just like, yep, we'll see.
Yeah, sometimes it happens, but in situations like that where it's a pitch, I mean, when you go into it and you kind of know that it's going to happen, I was just trying to tell myself that I have an endless supply of new music somewhere in the universe waiting for me.
Yeah.
And I channel it in when I need it. So, you know, it's only my time that is a point of contention in those situations where I have to determine whether or not I can afford to do pitch work, because I love to do it, and I was pitching for Disney TV for a long time, and I haven't done one of those in a while, but you know, they send you the spec, and then you have to like make a record, but you're doing it on your own dime, and they don't always come up with money to pay you for it, and you rarely get that stuff. So it ends up being just like a really awesome sounding demo that you can't use anywhere, or show anybody,
because technically somebody else owns it, and you're just like, oh god, that's gonna sit there forever.
That's it. That's what it does. A lot of things get shelved that way just because Disney wants to make sure that there's not 7 million versions of their pitch like out there in the public, because that's just not good and stuff like that. But it's still fun.
That's one of those things where like, especially recently with like AI faking everything with like the end games, not the end game stuff, the Doomsday stuff for like Marvel, people were like, oh, this is a real leak. And it's just like, you don't. No, Disney's way too good. They like, these are one, very obviously fake for anybody who knows, but also you don't think that they wouldn't have like the biggest, scariest security guards littering that place that would just pummel you if you thought about trying to take a picture?
There's like, I heard stories from friends of mine that Marvel used to send, and they might still do this. Anybody that works at home, they send like bug check team or like a security team to come and kind of case your house, to examine your computers and all of that. And I mean, that's understandable. A lot of things that I do for clients, since I'm totally independent, a lot of things I'm doing for clients is behind their firewall. So it's effectively the same thing. This computer that I'm on right now doesn't even belong to me, and it logs all my keystrokes because it belongs to a client. So, I mean, I'm obviously allowed to use Zoom whenever I want. Now, but
they're probably recording us right now.
But I may get fired.
Yeah. I mean, that's why I was always like, even when we were scheduling this initially, I'm like, this can be a loose Q&A thing. We don't have to get into like specifics, because obviously, just like with the initial interviews I did with all of you guys, there is definitely that like, hey, I understand that you can't talk about everything that you're working on. That's goofy, like to assume that you're just going to be able to leak whatever you want, because that's just not how the industry works. Right. But also, like, you talk about stuff that people liked, like the Underneath the Sanctuary one. Like, I thought that was sick, but also different from your usual stuff. So I was like, that would probably be okay to talk about because it's already public. But also, I don't know how that works with like their global clarifications. Like, if the team is like, well, the song's public, but that doesn't mean you're allowed to start talking about it yet in detail. Like, some places are very picky about their, like, even some of the partnerships that I'm a part of, I'm not allowed to tell people that I'm a part of it, which is weird to me, because it's like, isn't that the point? But they're like, no, we just don't want you to change your content with people knowing. But it's also, sure, but you're telling me that I can't tell them that you're cool for picking me to be a part of your team? Like, that seems like a downside for you. Companies are weird.
They are weird. And I feel like that's because of like the sanctity and security of team building for some companies can be a little bit more of a private thing. Like actually with Disney, I'm not technically supposed to post any of the stuff I work on because because some of it I'm not really credited for, but also I can't say that I'm a Disney composer because I'm not a Disney composer. I compose for them.
But you're like a freelancer, so that gets a little bit more fuzzy. Yeah.
Exactly. And even then I really can't talk about too much. Well, but I can talk about my process in relation to any other gig I work on. Actually, in relation to any gig, because my process belongs to me.
Yeah.
So if people have questions about certain songs or what I'm doing, and I have my phone up here so I can like look at chat also.
Oh, okay. I wasn't sure if you were gonna have that.
Oh yeah, totally. I just want to make sure I don't miss anything. And I do like this small chats with, an intimate group of any one of people. Yeah, not like an in-house composer for Disney. No. In fact, Disney does have in-house composers, but without revealing any of their mysterious secrets, there's a lot of other folks that do stuff. I'm watching you.
Adam, all eyes on me, Gubman.
Be mean. I'm okay with that too. Talk about Still the Same. We could talk about it. What do you want to know? Wait,
yeah, I wasn't anticipating.
Song is because the names change so much. Hold on, let me go to my YouTube. I think that's the one with Chad Reeser, right? That's that whole thing.
I wouldn't even know. I don't think I've seen that one yet. I have to keep myself in the dark given what I do on the channel. So it's like when they say names, I'm like, what's that song? If I haven't done a video on it, I'm in complete.
Yeah, this one. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
You want to talk about it? We can talk about it. What do you want to know?
I was fully prepared to like feed questions to you. I was like, oh, okay, this makes my job just slightly easier.
I'll watch. You just, Rob, say nothing.
Okay, I'll just
that now. All right, so chat. Still the Same. I wrote it. What do you want to know? Okay, so that song, the idea, and this is so weird to me because they're like, do something vintage. And I always get asked to do vintage stuff, but a lot of times their vintage idea is like the 90s. And I'm 46, and so that doesn't feel very vintage to me. It feels like totally new still. But
that's vintage to me.
I know. Right? So they came with this like Carole King sort of concept, like Redbone Carole King, and Redbone is it's a wonderful rock band from the 60s and 70s with a lot of really interesting melodic stuff and Native American thematic integration. And of course, I wasn't trying to do any of that, but I did kind of lean on their rhythmic stuff and the way that they did their guitar production. I researched a bunch of that stuff, and then also Carole King. And I'm a huge Carole King fan. In fact, I had one of my most poignant, life-changing watershed experiences was when I was 18 and working for CJ Vanston in Hollywood. He's a producer, and he was producing a Carole King record. Did I tell you this story last time, dude?
I don't think you did. I don't think we touched on this one.
Okay. So the very first job I ever had, and I promise that this will make sense when
you got to get into the details first.
So I had taken this assistant gig, and CJ was such a cool dude. He played keyboards in Toto, and he was he's alive. I hope he's definitely alive.
Never a great sign when you're like, I think he's still around.
He was like 40 back then, and that was like 25 years ago. So he's like in his 60s. Yeah, he's still around. He's a really talented keyboard player and producer, and he taught me a lot about how to deal with clients. And he taught me some other stuff that I've taken with me to this day about just client relations and stuff. Yeah. Anyway, Carole King was one of his clients. Michael Bolton, In Sync. We did a bunch of records like that. I got to work with Spinal Tap. We did like the Spinal Tap movie Back from the Dead, and we recorded that song at A&M Records, and Parker Posey was there to sing background vocals, and I was like totally flummoxed because I had a huge crush on her back then. I mean, she's still beautiful. She kind of looks the same. Awesome indie actress, done some other films. Anyway, when we were rehearsing with Spinal Tap, next door to us was Mark McGrath, and then on the other side was like Gwen Stefani. And when we were at A&M, Green Day was recording their most recent record at the time, and since that was like 1998, that would have been their second or third record. I can't remember. Anyway,
Jeez.
So crazy experience. But back to Carole King. So out of all the artists that came in the studio, Carole King was by far the sweetest and nicest. And CJ had always said, look, just hang out in the hallway, and when it's okay to come in, I'll invite you in, but I just want to make sure that the clients are comfortable, because being that they were A-listers or AC A-listers at the time, it was a little more difficult for them to just be like, sure, anybody can come in. And CJ ran a small operation. It was him and me, and then like one other assistant occasionally. So Carol was like really chill about me coming in, so I got to go in, and she brought with her Bill Clinton cell phone, and Bill Clinton was the president at the time. And it was like this old looking gray giant cell phone on a lucite block. And she was like, do you guys want to call him? And I'm like, no, I do not want to call Bill Clinton right now, but that is really cool. And so, the rapport was fun, and she was silly and sweet and kind of gave grandmother energy, even though she wasn't that old at the time, but I was really young, and so I felt like that. The reason why that was so important to me was because at the end of that whole situation, Carol said, Adam, and she pulled me aside and she put her hands on both of my shoulders, and she said, thank you so much for everything you did. You were instrumental to this process, and we couldn't have done it without you. And she gave me a big hug, and that was the sweetest thing. She didn't have to say any of that. She could have just been like, peace out, and left. But she made it a point to make everybody feel comfortable and loved and welcomed. And that set the benchmark for me in the way that I choose to treat people in that environment. I want everybody that comes into my studio, all my clients, all my musicians I work with, my coworkers, everybody to feel like they are loved and welcomed and appreciated. It's never just a gig to me. Everybody I work with is effectively like family, because I want this train to keep going. And the way you do that is by building amazing foundational relationships with people. And I will do that the rest of my life. So thank you, Carole King. You are not dead. I don't know why I'm looking at the sky. None of these people are dead. Unless I've got like some weird premonition, which God, please don't kill him. Thank you. But that was it. So, and now where that comes to or from is after that, I started listening to a lot more Carole King, and my parents were really into her. So I just kind of ignored her when I was younger, but then I got into her later. And one thing that she does, and that I took from her, not just trying to adopt her amazing spirit, but she compresses the fuck out of her pianos. So all that was to say, that compressed piano was because Carole King inspired me to be a better person, and I went back and listened to her music, and now this Ark Knights tune has a compressed piano because of it. End rant. Is that a rant? End rave.
That was a story. Like,
okay, so the other thing. I'm sorry, I'm
interrupting. No, you're good. No, I didn't really have anything to add. I was just like, it's a story. It counts. Like,
sorry. The other thing is this song. So almost every element in it we recorded using digital vintage processing. I use a lot of this stuff from Acoustica Audio, and they make a whole bunch of really sort of authentic-ish reproductions of vintage gear, and they're so good. In fact, my secret weapon compressor that they make is called the L-Ray, and I'm using that on my drum bus. I use it on vocal buses. I use it on a lot of different things to give me a real tight, warm, edgy sound that's got just enough color without convoluting the mix. So I use that on a lot of stuff. We had Brian Schmidt playing bass, Adam Alisi playing drums. My horn section on that was Josh Plotner, Eric Hughes, and Sean Billings. And then Jeff Askew on guitar. And then background vocals was Vanjie Gunn. And Vanjie is just a monster singer. She's married to Gordon Goodwin, who is from Gordon's Big Fat Band. He's also a composer for Disney. Genius jazz composer, genius songwriter, just a all-around inspirational dude. And Vanjie is just as savvy and smart at her vocal arrangements. So I brought her in to do that, and she absolutely crushed it. So go back and listen to the song. There's some fun surprises in there, but I really tried to make this one as authentic as possible without lifting stuff directly from it. So that is that. So let's see, Ginger. What's up, Ginger Mint Pepper? That is a lovely dessert-laden name of
dessert-laden name. So
I want that to really be that person's real name.
somebody made a comment that my camera was too tall, so now I've got to make everything like more even, but it's really awkward doing it live.
Go ahead. Do you?
I've been trying, but also it's weird because it looks like I'm eating you with how big I am compared to you, so I'm trying to like even us out a little bit.
Now you look like you're like an in frame news video.
Yeah.
thing.
Like
That's
initially I was like in the corner, I'm just like sitting there, and someone's like, that looks like a reaction video, and I'm like, you're right.
There you go. Oh,
Got him.
thanks, Ginger. I feel like the warmth definitely transfers into still the same. So I suppose we can thank Carole King for his pick. That's so funny that you noticed the warmth of that song, because the actual feedback I got from my first mix is that they wanted it warmer and they wanted even more of a vintage sound. So I ran it through some tape stuff and reprocessed some other things to make it sound that way. But yeah, the vintage processing on there did bring that warmth. That's a good call out. Nicely done. Ginger, mint, pepper, picante, tapatio, chocolate pie. I do love your name. It's all of your favorite flavors. Well, if you mix them all at once, would they still be your favorite?
Valid question. I'm one of those weirdos that always like mixed a bunch of foods when I was like in school, and people were like, ew.
What's wrong with that?
It's like it never bothered me. I was like, it's food. Like I didn't have the room to complain. I was just like, you know what? I'm eating. That's a good day.
I feel that too, and I'll eat just about anything. In fact, my new favorite addiction are these Diet Dr. Pepper. Dude,
I have to literally not drink those, even though they're zero sugar, which is safe for the type 1 issue. It's that I would keep drinking them and it would become an obsession. So I've got to like choose to not.
And now it's mine. My other obsession right now is playing Magic the Gathering, and I can't stop doing that.
Yeah.
So between Dr. Pepper and buying and cracking packs, I think I'm screwed.
I saw your post on that and I'm just like, I didn't know he played Magic.
Oh, yeah. Anytime. I was playing Mono Black all day yesterday. I built this like crazy demon deck that just ramps hard and brings out a ton of demons, and that just sounded evil. If you're just tuning in, we're talking about a game.
No, it's just your life.
Regulus is shaking your hand as a Dr. Pepper supremacist. That's too much. I haven't done anything with Lupac since then, since that Regulus song, since the other ones.
Which is a bummer too, because like I haven't seen much of like people stopped requesting their music pretty much right after your stuff went through. Like I had a couple more.
Yeah.
But I started making it a part of my regular schedule a few months back, just because I was like, I want to get more into this and see what like the sounds that they have are different, and every game has a little bit of a different identity. And theirs is definitely like, even compared to the other games I cover, is like, with the fact that they go through so many genres and their decades approach to things, it's like, whoa. Like I like hearing those different inspirations, and I'm kind of bummed that you haven't had more.
Oh, well, thank you, dude. I appreciate that. But I think you're gonna, without giving anything away, genre, not from that game, but expect more from me in Wuthering Waves.
Oh. Well, I figured you would still be working with them, given you just did that concert this past weekend. So I was like, okay, well, he's still on their payroll.
Yeah, I really love that team. It was nice they came out here, and we went to dinner and we hung out for a couple of days, and that's not something I really get to do with my friends in China a lot. I have a ton of clients in Turkey and a ton of clients in China, and there's other games that I'm working on right now in China that I can't reveal that I'm working on yet because they're not out. Yeah. But just expect at the mid to later part of this year, there's going to be some other mobile game stuff, and maybe not just all songs, maybe some in-game stuff, maybe some other things. All of my clients look at me as a different animal, and this is kind of the thing about like when you're a composer, is certain groups get to know you for certain things, you know. So Disney knows me as like the sort of like parade show pop guy. I don't get to do like big fat underscored stuff for like, you know, events and stuff like that, but I do that kind of stuff for Blizzard and for Ark Knights and for other companies. But then Wuthering Waves knows me as like a pop guy only, so they don't have me do any in-game stuff. You know what I mean? So it's just like different companies have a different concept of what you're doing. I'm trying to catch up with all these chats. Honor of Kings World. No, not that, and not Enfield, unfortunately. Yeah. I'm pretty dug into traditional Ark Knights right now. So right now there's no plans to work on Enfield. I would love to work on Enfield, but no, I'm not working on Enfield. I don't know what NTE is, so pretty much. But no, that doesn't not mean in the future that I won't do anything. They might invite me on it, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. But as I say, I wish you could have more work with Blue Pac. You really did well with that. Writing a review from Adam Gubman. Oh, Neverness to Everness is
I've never heard of that one.
Not familiar with that.
Must be newer.
Yeah, interesting. I'll check it out though. I will definitely check it out.
I saw the Honor of Kings one, I'm like, maybe that's more of like something Obi might be working on right now, actually, just because I think he's worked on similar. Not that you would know or can say anything, and not that he would be able to either at this point.
I would or wouldn't know, but I would never talk about it. But yeah. I will say that I did some Honor of King stuff years ago.
Yeah,
maybe like 10 years ago when it earlier.
I'm pretty sure that's one of the ones like Obi has like that he likes to talk that like he's really proud of doing the work, and I think he just had one recently that came out. So I was like, yeah. If anything's going to be Honor of Kings, in my mind, it's probably going to end up being Obi, but I also have no clue.
Obi should be proud, man. He should be proud of everything. That guy's a monster composer.
Dude.
And super nice dude. Very down to earth. I mean, I feel like he and I are a little closer in age than some of the other guys that I know that do this kind of work. So that's probably partially why we get along so well. But he's one of those guys that constantly surprises me in his output, like the production elements that he incorporates and the skill of musicianship and all of that, and even his melodic ideas. He's always got me on edge, and I really respect any composer that keeps me guessing. So for that, cheers to Obi.
Yeah, I mean that's why I like you. So like all four of you I was supposed to talk to tonight, you're all like, you have your definite like stylistic niches. Like you said, you're kind of more the pop guy in a lot of people's eyes. But I always think of like Obi as like the king of like metal stuff that he approaches. I love
he crushes that, man.
Yeah, and Robert's approach to like his atmosphere is insane. His control of space in the ears is nuts. And David just knows how to write a great lyrical line. The dude's got those poetic vibes in his soul.
His melodic work is great too.
Yeah.
All those guys impress me, man. I can't say enough good stuff about all of them. I listened to a lot of Robert's work. I think there's just so much density and interesting, harmonic motion and little intricate production elements that I love. I love all that stuff. I was never really I do cinematics, but I don't consider myself like a cinematic composer. I'm more of like a pop guy, like you say, or a Disney-ish sort of guy.
At least that's more what people know you for, given what you cover on a regular basis.
Yeah, absolutely. When earlier in my career, I did more bigger cinematic work. And of course, I've scored films and all that, but songwriting is where my heart is, man. I'll do that till the day I die.
When talking about like production detail stuff, like not specifically yours, but have you heard Somniomancer from Ark Knights? Like that song? Because that is insanely detailed. It is dense with sound design.
I think I was, because you had said something about that.
Yeah, it was one by Crywolf. Like that, it was like a song that took me so far by surprise. I was like, Jesus Christ, how did they, like all the effects and everything he was doing on that was just ear candy.
Yeah, this one. Okay, so those voices and all that.
Mm-hmm.
This was in the same set of that other thing. Yeah, man, this is great. I remember this one. Very dense.
So good. So much density to that.
It's stuff like this, and from the other guys that really helps to keep that bar set high.
Hmm.
You know, on days when I'm feeling lazy, I just remember that there's really fucking good shit out there.
You're like, God, I got to step up my game. I'm like, I have a job if these guys keep showing up.
Oh, I don't. I try not to get in the weeds too much with the crazy production stuff. I mean, there's guys that are just so much better at that than me. That if I was going to do something, I would call my friend Yoris or some of these other guys that I know that are just killer uh, electronica guys to help me with that element. I try to stay more in my lane these days because it's easier for me to move quicker through the work, and we're booked out pretty far, and so it's like I can't really afford the time to do like a whole week on just the production elements. So I tend to parse it up, and I'm really only taking work that I'm interested in now because I'm kids. You know how it
Yeah.
is. I want family first.
That's also a good thing in general too, because you have that freedom to just do what you want and not like go, oh, where's my next paycheck coming from, and that's got to be nice too to like have that freedom and be able to pick.
Yeah, I'm graciously grateful for all that stuff, man. I really am. The only things that we're really turning down right now, and because if it is something that we want to do or be involved with, we'll take it and then just put one of our other guys on it, like Mason Lieberman or Kane German or Yoris or whatever, and spread the love a little bit.
I wanted to get Mason on that collaboration I did for Hello Brain, Phenomenal Agents. Like I wanted him to sing on that, but I was like, there's no way I can like meet him, talk to him, get him involved before this was supposed to go out. But I really wanted to do that just because I think his voice would have been so fun on that song.
Well, you say that, but you don't have any idea how fast and accurate he is.
Right, but that's like why I didn't know if I could, but I didn't want to be like, hello, you've never met me before, want to do a thing? Like,
I would have just introduced you.
well, like I didn't know you knew him at the time either. Like not like that. I thought it was just more of a. I worked with him once. We went our separate ways. Like I know connections and all contacts are very important, so you don't tend to throw them away. But I also don't know if it's just like a one and done sort of thing. That's happened so many times to me where I'm like, I don't know how other people function.
So sometimes it is, but Mason happens to be one of those guys that is just so magnetic and talented that you always want him involved with your stuff. And he's built himself like a really great business because of that. He's also one of my best friends, and we have so much fun talking about stuff that I pick his brain about stuff because he knows more about like the anime styles of music than I do, and J-rock and K-pop and all this stuff that I'm fascinated by. He's a master of in his work experience. So, and he spent a lot of time in Asia and has a ton of players over there that he uses. So he's really become crucial to my production process in a lot of ways. And every time we've collaborated, I've always learned something from him. He's another composer that always surprises me. I try to surround myself with people that are inspirational like that, because I don't always want to be the heaviest hitter in the room.
Yeah.
I need, it's like I want to put together my own personal Avengers team of folks that I can count on. Like I don't think I would make a record without Leah Ziegler. She just has played on everything I've ever done, and her and Jeff Askew, Kane German. These are all folks that have played with me for years. Leah's played with me since 2018. And even when she's on the road with Hans Zimmer touring, I'm still like, she's recording for me in her spare time. So
you're like, find a closet now, go.
All these folks do that. All these musicians, it's like the touring income's great, but it's just like a normal job. So they need other things because
you get little supplemental things. I mean, hell, even I have that. Like, yeah, I'm full-time as a YouTuber now, but the supplemental things I do are like getting back into doing drum streams on Twitch, just like doing that. Yeah. It doesn't really get me money necessarily unless I like beg for it, which I try obviously not to do because that's just kind of a little pathetic in my eyes. But at the same time, sometimes things happen. Like somebody requested a song that broke a pair of my sticks while I was playing it. So I was like, you owe me a pair of sticks. And they sent me the money for it. But it's like, I didn't expect that of them either. But yeah, like in actual like side stuff is for my case would be like sponsorships when I get those, or those partnerships I have where like they pay me to do my regular videos, but they're just like, hey, we like that you're talking positively about our content, so we want to give you a cut of our ad team money, and it's like, okay, cool. But also there's not a lot of it. So it's like kind of hit or miss
Yeah,
for now.
and the dynamics of how income is being generated is changing a lot these days, and it's causing a lot of products to just go away and new ones to emerge. We're seeing a lot of shakeup in the game industry. A lot of games can't afford to make stuff anymore, and then there's a lot of new investors putting money into various other things. So for us, certain genres do really, really well, and it's probably the same with what you stream. Like certain ways of streaming certain things are more lucrative just because of interest.
I've really been like wrestling with myself because so many people, I guarantee you the chat's gonna be like, yeah, when I say this, but like so many people want me to play their game interest because I haven't touched any of them yet. And I am considering it heavily, not because the money is calling to me, because that wouldn't really be so much of a factor. But I know that if I don't give myself the time I need to like prepare myself mentally for that, then I'm going to hate it. And I don't want that to be the case. I need to be in the right mental space to try the games and enjoy them in that way. But for somebody with, unfortunately, my mental status as it is, that can be very, very hit or miss. So I'm just like, well, I want to be a part of this, but also it's hard to commit unless there's just a magic stars align moment where I'm just like, you know what? Yeah, fuck it. I'm going to play Ark Knights today. Like I'm not
I'm just jumping into Wuthering Waves after working on it for like as long as I have been, and I'm like, oh, this is like so like Breath of the Wild, and I love that. So I'm gonna continue on with that. What are you playing anything right now? What are you playing?
I mean, I just got off of a stint of Marvel Rivals, but that's just because I've always liked team shooters in general. I enjoyed Overwatch, but it's not really anything that I knew I was going to be able to stick with because, being real, the community sucks for it. So it's like, I don't want to be a part of it. But at the same time, I do enjoy the games, but it gets so hard to like them after such a short time. The mobile games that I cover are not that because they're solo experiences, so you don't have to fight with people like randomly throwing out gamer words at you in the middle of something.
Yeah, I understand that. That's usually why I don't play a lot of online content. Like I still play WoW here and there, but I'm not playing it to socialize with people. In fact, I wish there wasn't anybody in that game and I can just do quests. I want to play Claire Obscura. That's definitely on my list. Send Papi.
See, I feel like Claire Obscure, because like I've seen so many good things about it, but just like every other like AAA title that's done well, I'm afraid to jump into it because I feel like I would give it too much like space in my head. It would like sit there too long and I'd overhype it to myself. Yeah. But then I would end up hating like one aspect and then that's all I can think about. It kind of ruins it for me. So my relationship with gaming since I was a teenager has always been very hit or miss with like, can I enjoy it at this time? And basically the only 3 games I've gotten into since I was 18 were like Rocket League, Overwatch 2, and Marvel Rivals, which all 3 of those have awful communities in the grand scheme too. So it's like, I don't know what I'm doing to myself. I just shouldn't.
Are you still playing Overwatch 2?
I haven't played it in like 2 years. I kind of stopped when there was a group I was playing with, but then they and me just kind of drifted apart. Nothing really bad necessarily happened. It was just like, okay, I guess we're not playing together anymore. And then I just never opened it again. Really?
Dude, I just did a bunch of new content for it. A bunch of stuff.
I did hear that you had like at least one song I saw your announcement on, but that was months ago too. So
they've announced it. I don't know if they.
Claire's an indie game. I thought God, the quality I was seeing, I thought it was okay. Well, AAA means nothing then if Claire Obscure exists. Take that, big game industry.
Yeah. Oh, this is Year of the Raptor. I just turned it in. Hold on. I got to check on this. Because I don't want to accidentally announce anything.
Yeah. Be careful.
So I'm just going to say, just expect more Overwatch 2 from me. In a lot of interesting ways this year.
And that's like, I mean, I carry that opinion with, like, along with everyone else in the world. Blizzard just needs to make like movies. Like their games are fine, but when it comes to like their promo materials, their media, the animations and music that they have, it's always so much better than like the game ends up being after a few months of dealing with the communities. They really just need to jump in on it and challenge like Illumination and Disney at the game of just being an animation house. Like,
I would love to see Blizzard do cinematic stuff. Their cinematics are wildly polished. Like,
right. Like they had that Warcraft movie like a decade ago, but it was like, oh, okay, that was fine, but do more of that. Like, where'd you go after that one? Come back.
Even the so we did a trailer for the Transformers collab with Overwatch, and that was like, and Mason co-wrote that with me, and that was like animated in Asia somewhere, and it's like so cool. So Blizzard like does all these really interesting styles, and yeah, they could make a million movies and it'll be. Who said Overwatch collab? That was Isaac. How do you say that name?
Isaac, yeah, that looks right.
Yeah, Overwatch 2 collab. That's right. I've been working on Overwatch since for almost 5 years maybe.
If you mean collab with me, not happening because I'm not even a producer. So that's what the reference was. People will do that. They'll comment like, "Oh, when are you doing a collab with this composer, this person?" Like you talk to them. It's like, I'm not really the one that makes those decisions, nor do I really have the place or space to do most of what people would need out of me. Like, yeah, I can record my drums, but I'm just a guy in a room. It's not a studio quality. It's just basement quality.
That's like my room, but I also don't have to record
like live instruments. Yeah.
Like none of them, it's all just in the box here. I do vocals here.
Collab with God when?
Collab with God. He's collabing with God right now. God feeding him information.
Always. Oh, man.
Play the game together. Play the game of life with God. Ooh, edgy. Ooh. His name is Kuro Animatics. That's hilarious.
Kuro's been around for so long on this channel, like in the comments and everything. I think there's been a few requests. It's weird how many people I like recognize. Like I'm very like faces and names don't tend to click for me in person, but I can read a username and see a profile picture. And I'm like, oh, I remember you from like 4 years ago. God, everyone in here basically.
It's nice to have such an active
do I recognize one of the longest standing Patreon members in my channel? Yeah, I think I do, Senpapi. Somebody I talk to on a daily basis in the Discord. Of course. No, I don't remember you at all.
Come back and hang in the Discord. But every time I'm afraid now because I did one time and someone screenshotted and tweeted my...
Right? I was like, come on, guys. Like, he thought he was safe here. This was supposed to be, like, a relaxing place, and somebody grabbed that. I still don't know who did that, too. I did try to find out based on, like, the, like, timestamps of when it was posted, but there was too many people talking right around the time that you posted it that I couldn't have picked, and it could have been a lurker, too.
Yeah, it didn't bother me. It was fine.
Yeah.
I don't care about it.
I forgot what the subject even was, but yeah, that was months back. That was like September or something.
I think I was saying something about like being excited about a new thing.
Oh, I think it was like your first song with Wuthering Waves, like your first release with them. That's what it was. Yeah, and people were like, "He's working with Wuthering Waves."
They broke that because I was doing Infinity Nikki at the time too. I haven't worked with those guys in a long time. They used to hit me up on Skype, but that is no longer. So
yeah. I said a goodbye. Like I was still part of a chat on Skype from 2013, and it was an old production chat for an old animation team that I was a part of, and I think like 2 of them still used it. So I put up like hey, I know you've all heard the news. Thanks for the years of working with me and just having time. See you later. Like, and it's just like it's kind of a bummer because like that's a part of my life that I'll never be able to see again. Like I always used to pop in once in a while to see if people were still like online on Skype, but not a lot of them are, and now no one is.
No one is ever. They've all missed their way to the ether of digital nothingness. Great things about Nikki, but recently all I heard about has been terrible. Well, I can't say anything about that because that would damage me. So you can keep guessing, brother.
I wouldn't call me a cornerstone of the Ark Knights community. What did I do to get that title? I just showed up and started going, ooh, wow, a song sounds good. Oh, wooga. And like, that's all.
Yeah, but the way you said it, I guess people wanted to hang out. So good job, Rob.
I don't know. I feel like a lot of people just, that's kind of been my thing with like, I've had a love-hate with reaction, the community in general. Cause like, I don't talk to many people overall, but so many people are just like, wow, sounds really cool. See you next time, and do nothing else with it and don't try to offer a true insight. And it's like, that's so lazy to me. And then the other side of that are people, there's a drum guy who does this all the time, who literally will like sit there and watch other drummers play and will be like, he's using his sticks. And like, that's all he does. And it's like, dude, you're doing nothing. Like, I am a public hater of that guy. Like, I hate him so much. Like, dude, do something with your content. You have a platform. He's got tens of thousands of subs, and he just does nothing. It's all shorts of him just staring at, like, Ellis DePario and, like, doing amazing shit on the drums. And it's like, dude, be a drummer. You know, like, brain neuron activation. Like, use something.
Dude, that reminds me of those other... or like people that restream content, but then like they'll split the screen, and on one side of it it's like a Minecraft run through, like high speed.
Yeah.
And the other side is like a call into a dating show, like on the radio. So it's like, welcome to the show. We've got Bob on the line who's trying to get a hold of his girl. And on the other side, it's like Subway Surfer. Like, I'm like, what? But then you get sucked into watching Subway Surfer because it's so hypnotic. And you're like, jump, motherfucker, jump, jump. And it's like, on the other channel, it's like somebody cooking or something. I'm like,
yeah. We're sitting here, we're like, I unfortunately, but also I admit that I watch them, the like Reddit stories that go on like TikTok, and it's just that with like Subway Surfers or something. But some of those are legitimately fun to listen to and will hook you, but I can tell when they're fake. It's not like I'm sitting here oblivious of the reality I'm in, but also sometimes you just want to stare at your phone like, and just no brain. Let your brain rot sometimes.
Are you saying that not everything on Reddit is true?
What?
Are you saying that people are faking stuff on the internet?
Somebody probably photoshopped that comment you made about Wuthering Waves. There was never proof. It was gone almost immediately once I heard that it happened. And I was in Canada when that happened too. Like, I was in such an unfortunate spot to like try and damage control that. I wanted to, but I was like, shit, I'm sick. I got sick on the flight to Canada last fall, and I saw that happen. I'm like, you're kidding me right now? I've just got a laptop in a dream. Like, I was offloading footage from the drum cover collaboration I did up there with Kin Productions, and I was like half delirious that whole time. Saw that happen. I'm like, really? In my house? Come on.
That's normal.
Yeah.
Man, your chat is pretty full.
Yeah, well, that's just because of you. It's nobody shows up when it's me.
Oh.
Yeah, it's I mean, I
showed up for you today. Look at this.
I mean, yeah. It's like I know it's kind of obviously still a bummer that we didn't get everyone together, but I know that we'll be able to manage that. It's just we have to do things in the proper channels. I thought that they did that legitimately. I didn't know that there was like such a lockdown on there. That is strict, but also you can't tell them not to be strict. It's their company and their policies. It's just more of like okay, we'll get there and settle that as time goes on. But also, I don't really know if there's anything that would kind of like what we're doing. We're talking about stuff hit or miss. It's not like we're getting too in the weeds, you know?
I mean, you can get as weedy as you want with
me. I mean, I know we can, but I tend to not. I just like to chill and talk. I mean, we can get into weeds, but mostly you've been just reading the chat and answering what questions people had. Somebody on my Patreon, St. Vina, did ask what your opinion is on like making rhythm game music, but I don't know if that's even a thing that's on your radar or like what your opinion would be there.
That was a good question on making rhythm game music. Why? That's a weird thing that they would ask. Actually.
Yeah, well, they're obsessed with rhythm game music.
So I mean, I don't know if this counts, but I did like a bunch of Just Dance games. Does that even count? I mean, it's kind of
Yeah,
the same thing.
we did talk about that the last time, where you like kind of recomposed the songs that were supposed to be used for those.
Yeah, that was yeah. I mean, and it's not that exciting unless you're like another person that really loves doing that kind of work or you're obsessed with that. But I haven't like what was that dungeon one? Not Darkest Dungeon, but there's another like dungeon crawler kind of rhythm game. I don't know. I mean, I think that's interesting, but my whole workday is a rhythm game, and I desperately struggle to keep up with the metronome. So we are like playing it in real time. So I think that I would probably not want to do another rhythm game. The other problem with rhythm game music, and like they're fun to play, but it's such a pain in the butt to like create all the deliverables for it. Because you every single note has to be a whole separate audio file and then implement it and make it work good. But I will say, I think I work on Sky Children of Light.
Yeah.
That's one of the bigger projects that I do consistently. And for that game, we do have a rhythm game integration. I'm just seeing if I can pull up the...
Yeah, everyone's asking if it was Necro Dancer was the one that you were...
Yes.
Okay, yeah.
Necrodancer is good call, chat.
You...
But yeah, Necrodancer was cool. I remember that. But yeah, so in Sky we have these sheets that players can play, and they're like distillations of the of the music. So they'll take like a song and then create like a sheet out of it where the player can like click different bubbles in time to like play the melody, and it tells you when to play it and stuff like that. And our audio engine has built in all these instruments. So when I'm composing for it, I have to like use the exact instruments, and then I can make the back on. But it used to be that I was delivering like these crazy MIDI files with a million tags on them. It would take me forever to like fix it, but they've fixed their engine, so now I don't have to deliver like that. I deliver a lot smoother. And that was the thing. So rhythm games always come with like a bunch of extra stuff that just makes it a little bit harder for the composer. And my rate didn't change on that, but it is what it is. Not looking for that work, but I will. I'm gonna have to drill a hole in your favorite bar stool, Adam. So we want a Catharsis cameo in my next Ark Knights track. Is that what we're asking for, chat?
I mean, it's my full-time job now, so ask whenever the hell. I've got nothing else better going on.
It's not that I don't love his drum. It's just that
it's a weird thing to find.
No, it's actually there's no problem with it.
Oh,
I just haven't done it yet. Yes, the answer is we'll totally do it.
Confirmed. It's like I just assumed it's more like a mix of a quality thing, because I don't have the best like quality setup, but I don't have a crap one either. It's kind of mid. But also like I'm not the best drummer in the world, so that sits on my mind like, can I deliver for you is my concern. I will practice something into the ground, but that doesn't mean I'll play it as well as the other guy that you've hired before who did the stuff that we've talked about, where he's like insanely good. And it's like, I don't have that sort of control.
Well, how about we just let you do it, and then in terms of tone, I'm replacing drums anyway.
Yeah, like, just sample it over. It's like I didn't.
I am oversampling. So I'll take I use like a Trigger or Tune Track, Easy Drummer, and I'll take the snares and then kind of feed whatever snare I get into that, and then trigger like a MIDI snare.
Yeah.
And we'll layer it. So it's your actual part.
I did that by hand. I did a cover of I did a YouTube short of Misery Business by Paramore, and I wanted to get that snare as close to that really pingy, and I only had a wood snare at that time, so I manually in DaVinci like layered like a sample of the snare. Like I didn't have Trigger.
No, thank you.
It worked. It sounded really decent, but also it sucked because I was sitting there for like a solid half hour just dragging, copying, and pasting.
Yeah, that totally blows. I would not do that.
I wouldn't do that for a whole song. Hell no.
Trigger's cool though. There's another tool that I started using. Can't remember the name of it, but it's like a drum gate that can sense what the drum is. So if you're looking for like just the hi-hat, it'll isolate the hi-hat.
I saw a bunch of ads for that. I guarantee it's the same thing too. I forget what it's called, but yeah, like I considered getting that because it seems really good at like putting it onto each individual microphone and just gating out everything else.
It does a good job. I've used it. In fact, I used it on Still the Same.
Mm.
Is that tool on there because I was trying to get a really, really clean, like dead chamber sort of sound with the drums, so I could add some vintage reverbs to it, and it to not pick up the room sound at the same time. I wanted it like as dead as possible, so I used that and I gated it really hard with a really tight attack and really tight release, and did a little bit of drum replacement, and then used that tool to just clean up the original audio. So I'll still feed in like all of the kicks and typically the toms, and the overheads. I'll use whatever Adam sends me, but with his snares, I'll take his top and bottom mic and put them in one bus, and then put Slate trigger on there, Steven Slate's trigger, and then try out different drums in that sample library until I find one that's close to his, but just has a little tighter compression or gives it just a little extra heat. And I'll tuck it in there, and then it becomes this like just massive, tight, cool, like pro drum sound. But everybody's doing drum replacement. Like everybody does.
That's why I think I will end up getting Trigger at some point for the same reason that like I know my kit isn't as good, and when I start doing like standalone full covers, my kit can only do so much. As nice as it is on its own, I don't have the best room for it. I don't have room mics in here. It's only a 10 by 10 room in the grand scheme. So it's like I took away my room mic recently actually because I like reset all of my mixing and everything just to start from scratch, and realized I didn't need it because my overheads were doing enough there. But now I've got another microphone I might put on the bottom of my snare. I haven't really played around with doing that yet, but maybe. But yeah, it's knowing that my drums aren't great, just like anyone else. It's like, okay, sample it over with the Trigger. It's right there.
Yeah, and it's not that expensive, and it comes with all those great samples. I know the Tune Track one is pretty good too, but I'm not using that one right now. Although I do love the Tune Track Easy Drummer.
Yeah, I used to use Easy Drummer for my E-Kit streams back before I had the acoustic. I used it, and then I changed to Addictive Drums because I was able to get like the Jay Weinberg kit from Slipknot and a few other people like Thomas Pridgeon. Like his set is just, it's got so much fun toys to play with.
Yeah.
So it's like, hey, just use what you got.
I like that. Go good. We got a question.
Yeah.
Who is the drummer? The drummer that I use most for everything is Adam Alisi. He's a session drummer in LA. He also guests on Family Guy. So he'll play on Family Guy quite often. He's a little younger than me. He went to USC. Really talented guy. He's Greg Bissonette's drum tech, which just means that he goes with him to gigs and like sets his drums up and stuff. And that's how I met Adam, on a gig for a client where Greg was playing and Adam was like, hey, I play too, and you know, if you ever need anything and Greg's not available, let me know. But I hadn't been, I love Greg Bissonette, but he's touring a lot. He tours with Van Halen and other big bands. When I met him when he was playing in Spinal Tap, back to that original story I told, 1999, and he's just a monster drummer.
I was about to say, he's like, once you said Greg Bissonette, I'm like, really? Like, I didn't know that Adam was his drum tech. Like, that's sick. That's so cool. It makes sense given the skill.
He's played on a lot of stuff for me, and I can't even tell you what it is because he's played on Dark Date stuff, which means like back in the day, stuff where we couldn't hire union people, but we'll hire like, you know, or we just don't want to talk about what they are. And so sometimes musicians will play on stuff. And so he goes uncredited on stuff all the time, maybe or maybe not. I don't know. He might or might not.
Yeah.
But I really love Greg's playing. He's just a wonderful, talented player. And I wish I could afford him all the time. But Adam Alisi is equally as good. And he and I have built a rapport over the years. And Greg is often busy, so I use Adam on everything now, and I really love his playing. What was the process for that exceptional drum breakdown? That's really interesting. So actually, all the drums that Adam plays are based on what I program initially. So I've gotten to be a pretty good like keyboard drummer, and so I'll play in all of my drums live. Like I play it like a piano. on the MIDI, and I'll do like suggested fill layouts. And sometimes I'll click in some of the notes, and then I'll give it to Adam and just be like, make it more betterer. And so he'll like transcribe it and then do his thing. And he makes his own charts for everything, so it's nice to be able to see him go through that process. And it just always sounds so tasty. And I don't ever have to direct him. He always knows what what snare sound is going to be best. And I'll tell him sometimes, like, I want this to sound like this genre, or give him a different concept than what I've programmed in, because I might not have the sounds for it, or maybe I'm just not as good at that style of music. And he's like, oh, okay, so maybe you want X, Y, and Z, like counter. And I'm like, cool, just do whatever, man, because it's going to be great. And then sometimes he'll send me like alternate entire tracks of that. Sometimes he'll send me overlays. So he, like, when we did, what was it, Brant's song for Wuthering Waves, that was a big like theatrical pirate song, and Adam was like, oh, I'm gonna do a bunch of layers of just toms. So he did his drum set, but then he gave me like these epic tom layers, and he would set up he would use his whole drum mic kit set, which is like, he's got overhead right, left, he's got snare, top, bottom, kick in and out, hi-hat, tom 1, 2, 3, and 4, and then now 2-room mics, because he's in a new room. So that's 13 mics that he sends me. So if he just records a pass of toms, that's 13 mics worth. But typically what I'll do with that is just use the overheads and the toms. So I'm using 2 overhead mics left and right, and then his 4 toms. So that's a set of 6, and then I'll create a separate bus for it, and then feed it in that way, and then pan them however I want. But in regards to the creativity, I want all my players to be as creative as possible, and to just go with what they feel, because it's always going to be better than if I tell them what to do.
That's the best part about like having real instruments be played in general, just having real musicians do their thing. You can't fake that creativity. Like, I don't see myself as the most personally creative drummer. Some people say I am. I disagree. Compared to people like Adam, I can see like my own faults and my shortcomings, because obviously when you're comparing yourself to somebody who's up there with Greg, good Lord, like you can see it as a musician in the same field. You're like, God, I am over my head in this scene. But also, that's not my personal goal as a musician. And a lot of people don't seem to understand that there is that difference too, where like, I always talk down on myself as a drummer, but that's because you always do that when you're a musician of any sort. When you're an artist of any kind, you always judge yourself harshest, and you're going to have that opinion of yourself. I know I'm better than a lot of people. That doesn't mean that my confidence is going to skyrocket just because somebody gave me a thumbs up. I'm always going to be striving for that betterment.
All that being said, I'd still love to get you on something. Right now I'm about to start some new things, so let me see what it is. And
I think it's gonna suck, because like, if you ask me, I'm not gonna be able to talk about it. I'm gonna be like, ooh, vibrating with whatever. Yeah, of course.
You can say that you played on it, and then when it comes out, say, this is the one I played on. Because I can say, I've got a bunch of Ark Knights stuff in the pipeline, but I can't tell you what they are.
Fair.
So I put it on Twitter, and then everybody's like, oh my God, he's teasing me again. I'm like, wow, I am. Yeah. Do I have a favorite specific genre of music? No, but I prefer vocal music. So I always like to, instrumental's fine, whatever. I do a ton of it. Go play Royal Match. You hear a shit ton of instrumental stuff, and that was really accessible.
I just saw the comment of Kath under NDA, what crimes will he commit? that tickled me a little. Like, I don't know. We'll have to see.
Can't wait for Cathedral. Tweeting the same shit.
They're calling me Cathedral now because I posted a meme about like somebody mispronouncing the names. It's just a thing that's been going around the internet recently. So there's been a bunch of people calling me things that aren't my name but are somewhat close. So I've got like cart return was one that got me to laugh on. Just ballparking it. It's goofy. Anyway, yeah.
You ever use synth vocals? Synth vocals like Vocaloid? What are we talking about here?
Probably Synth likes vocal synth.
Well, so that one tune that I can't remember what it was called. You mentioned it earlier that I did with the choppy vocals. Those were all fake vocals, but that was like I used a choir patch for that I played in and then cut it up and tweaked it. But oh yeah, Vocaloid. No, I haven't done any Vocaloid yet, but I have used, and I'll never use or ship with AI vocals. I just don't fundamentally believe in doing that. Just but what I will use are vocal transformers, and I have done a lot of vocal change stuff. So in all the work I did for Star Wars Galaxy Edge, the theme park expansion for Disney, we were tasked with making it sound otherworldly, you know, but not like human. So I ended up recording a ton of those vocals myself, and then using different synth like vocoders type things to tweak and modify the format. So that to me is like pretty close. Just saying. Sorry, I was looking at some.
Oh,
I was looking at my Slack channel. Sometimes feedback just pops up for projects I'm working on, and I'm not sure if I'm supposed to act on it. So I was like, "What the hell am I supposed to do that?" Anyway, yeah. So I like Vocaloid. It's so cool, but I'm just.
I think as far as Vocaloid stuff and like any vocal synth pack, because there's a bunch of them out there, of course, I think that there's probably a legal issue with like if you were to use that for a game. I don't think that would be necessarily allowed. There's probably a bunch of like stuff with that where like you can record stuff or you can use them for personal projects, but I don't think like putting that in Ark Knights would work, for example. I think that there's too many red tapes in the way for that to be realistic.
I didn't know that. That's interesting. Well, I know with a lot of sample library licensing agreements, you can use the sample library if you perform it. But what you can't do is like open up the folder and grab one of the samples and then use that as like a sound effect. So there's some weird like licensing stuff. I don't know how it works with a Vocaloid.
Well, it's more because like stuff like Hatsune Miku are owned by Sega, so like there might be some issues with like another company utilizing that property and IP in another game. You can use it for yourself, make money off of your songs, but I feel like once you introduce like IP regulation into the mix, that gets a lot more dirty for like any company to want to deal with. So it's probably why you don't hear like Teto being used in in Ark Knights or Genshin Impact.
Yeah, maybe. Maybe if it's like a famous one for sure.
Yeah.
Let's see. There's some good questions now. How would I start making music with existing motifs and making your own interpretation in a different genre? Well, I think that kind of answers itself. You know, doing your own interpretation could involve reharmonization, you know, orchestration, tempo, style changes. There's limitless permutations of what that looks like. I do a lot of that stuff. Done a lot of that stuff, IP stuff for like Disney, where in fact, the Halloween show that came out in Tokyo Disney last year, I got to use a ton of Disney themes, but we sort of did it in like this Beyonce club dance style with orchestra. And so that was a lot of fun to do like mashups of like Captain Hook and Gaston together, but then to do it with like a dance underlying thing and like take bits and pieces of each melody, combine them. And of course we can do all that because it's Disney. So when I get to work on a Disney show, I have their entire library of melodic content available at my fingertips for incorporation, just to bring more of that IP flavor into it. So ever since I've been working with Disney and orchestrating, arranging, producing shows, like in that regard, I pull as much of that stuff in as I can. I did this super cool like punk rock ska version of How Far You'll Go for an Easter show a couple of years ago and everything. So yeah, I'm looking at all of it that way. In Sky Children of Light, sometimes I'll take the wonderful melodies that Vincent wrote for me to use or wrote for us to hear, and they're all for me to use in that. And for like Overwatch, I always tag the end of all the things with Overwatch thematic thing, like the main combat little motif that sounds like a Today Show theme, and I'll use that in different styles depending on what I'm doing. So yeah, reharmonization, new instrumentation, thinking of fun ways to do it. Like if the melody had been on the top before, and then we have like a bunch of brass under, but it's strings, maybe flipping the register to put the melody with the low brass and the strings on top, simple things like that just make it more fun. So let me see what else is going on.
I saw earlier of the one above that was just opinions about AI in music and such, like production, but I wanted to throw something before you got into it because I know you'll have more to say. I recently, just like a year ago, I actually left a a group that was going to be doing a fundraiser on Twitch. Like, it's a bunch of drummers who play and they raise money for whatever charity. But I left that chat and decided not to do it because the guy who was running it used AI to make like a theme song for the event. And I was like, that doesn't float with me. I was like, this is the reason I'm leaving. I just like, I don't love especially when you're trying to use it to, even if it's charity, that doesn't feel right. That feels almost more disingenuous than any other option. It's like, come on, like, you're musicians, get a few of you together and make a song. Like, I know it's a little bit more difficult, but it feels so much more shady and crappy when you just yoink it. I don't love the use of AI in general, especially like visual art. I've had that fight forever for that exact reason, but music especially too now is getting a little bit cleaner and better, and I hate it because it's like, no, stop feeding it to me. I don't want to see it.
Yeah, I don't want to have anything to do with that at all. I mean, a lot of folks are like, oh, it makes it better. But I think that like AI, like sound synthesis, if you're creating a tool that you're using where it doesn't take away from another artist and it's not something that you're using as a shortcut or to remove a human from the process, if we're using AI to enhance what we're doing, then I'm okay with that. Mm-hmm. But I would never hire. My dogs are being so funny right now. I wish you could see. They just look like fat seals flopping around on the ground. You would never catch me like shipping anything with an AI vocalist. Now, where it does become handy is if you want to hear something sung that you can't sing and you're not a vocalist, and you use AI as a temp vocal. But even then, man, I mean, just knowing that there's not a human in it, is that racist? Like, are we racist now if we don't accept AI? Oh, you want to see I don't know if you can see my fat seal dogs.
Might be able to. Fat seal dogs. Hey, look at that floppy seal boy or girl. I don't know.
Cinnamon, you're a fat seal. We call her potato because she looks like a freaking potato.
look at that Tootsie Roll ass shape in the body.
So fat. I mean, I'm not sorry. Didn't mean to fat shame my dog, but I will say we do need to put her on a diet because it's not working for me right now. Poor baby girl. Yeah, he hangs out with me in the studio all day because why wouldn't you want to hang out with your dogs all day?
Yeah, like I just recently had a video where one of my cats came in and like just crawled all over me. He was being super loving. He never comes into this room, even when the door's open. And more recently he has been, and I'm just like, what's up, buddy? And he's been like all up in my shit. He's the most like affectionate cat, but just he doesn't love coming in here for whatever reason. But cats. He's usually like laying in my lap and like begging. Like, he's the type of cat that will literally, even if you're a stranger, will meet you at the door when you walk in. He loves people. Nice. But also he doesn't love this room for some reason, so he stays out of there.
Maybe because it's all the noise-makey stuff.
Yeah, he always like recently when he has started to kind of come in here, he's been like sitting at the door with it open, just kind of just like asking if it's okay. And I'm just like, come on in, buddy.
One day I'll show you my cats. I have a lot.
Yeah, my dog can't come downstairs well anymore. He's just to that age, and he can still run around and such, but our stairs are narrow and they're not carpeted or anyway, so he can't like comfortably get down. So he just stays upstairs. He just kind of vibes out.
That's cute though. I don't know what I'd do without my animals. I love them so much. Oh, I like that comment. I will always be biased because I'm a very big fan of synth vocal music. No, that's fine. But so
dude, synth vocals are different.
That's a whole different thing, because we're not talking about replacing a human. We're talking about using a synth vocalist because it's not something a human can do. Yeah,
like synth vocalists are basically like keyboard effects to an extent that you can like give phonemes to.
Yeah, I don't consider that AI. And that's been around since before AI even existed. So it's yeah, how dare you on the internet?
Yeah, we're talking AI as in like you put in the prompt and it spits out like regurgitated whatever. The only times in like artistic and musical context that I, like you said, where it's like kind of a tool to get to something, like for example, green screening and editing, that's fine. by all means, AI the shit out of that. It sucks to do that manually. Rotoscoping and animation is bullshit. It takes forever. So like use it all you want, but even in music, it's like if you need like that first step, but you're not that great at it, like a lot of people are using AI mastering now just because it's kind of easy to throw in. But I say that's a first step. Like if you're gonna do that, do it, but then tweak it. It's never gonna be perfect, but it can at least give you like a starting point if you're good. I haven't tried it, but a lot of people are like all for going for it. And I'm like, I don't know how it would, I don't feel like it would just be more work to do that and then try to tweak it back to what I want rather than just doing it from scratch.
No, I totally get that too. I mean, that's it. Always better just to craft, in my opinion. Yeah, AI art posts. Okay, so I am all about those. I think they're hilarious, but they're not to make money. My favorite ones, and you might hate me, are the ones where it's like Jesus comes to hug a dog and the dog gets up and it's like a human.
Yeah.
It's like the same song.
Okay.
Jesus is coming in, like, and then the dog's like,
yeah. And it's just like a literal like bipedal man walking away.
That's horrifying, and
that's funny.
There for the fear of it.
Yeah, that's fun. Like when it's basically designed to be humor, sure, I guess. But
yeah,
when it's like people trying to make money off it and like making money off prompting and such, that's bullshit. But when you're just kind of goofing around with it, being ironic, then sure.
I like irony.
Yeah,
I'm all. I send my friend those creepy things all the time, or where it's like you think it's a person, and then it's like a half human, half fat seal thing. I said fat seal twice in this chat. I'm going to fat seal hell. Emma rides the Croco motorcycle. Yeah, that kind of stuff. That's what kind of Facebook slop. My algorithm, it really defines me, unfortunately. It's mostly video games and food and creepy monster AI or core. Well, I got time for a few more questions. There's a lot of people here. 63 is good. But I've got time for a few more if anybody wants to jump in.
The aspiring animator thing, it's like as far as coming from that perspective, humans are always going to be better at doing animation because we can feel things out. And that's just the difference there. You can always gauge roughly what movements to use, but you'll never be able to imitate fully what a human can do and see and exaggerate well. So I don't think you'd have anything to worry about there.
But depending on how close AI understanding of human personality goes, it could get pretty scary. That's why I do not support it. I don't anyway. What's my favorite color? Stop. Is black a color? I don't know. Black's a shade. I like blues and greens.
I'm a big teal guy myself.
That's blue and green. There we go.
Yeah.
Boom, boom. Got them both.
Literally, my drum kit is kind of like a greenish blue teal thing going on. I just like that's one of the only reasons I got it. I was like, I like that color.
It's like your cup you're drinking out of, young man.
To be fair, this is technically my sister's, but yeah, I use it.
But if you're like, this is technically my sister, I'm like, goodbye. What's on my mind when making songs? That's a really good question. I get so like consumed when I'm composing that I consistently lose track of time. It's like an obsession with the details of stuff. So until my hunger pulls me away to go and like make lunch or something, I'm focused on the minutia. So, but I think that's let's unpack that. There's a little bit more to that question than that. So number one, what's on my mind is how to serve the game I'm working on, because honestly, like I love writing for myself and I wish I had more time to do it, but I have to think about what the song is trying to do. Like, what's the story we're trying to tell? Do I have enough information? Where can I find more information? What is the trajectory of this character's plot line through the course of the song? And when I'm writing any of these songs for Ark Knights, it's, we want the story to evolve. We're not just taking a snapshot of a character. We're giving a whole event list, and we're telling, the backstory in a new way and giving some hints about what's happening in the gameplay. So it's very forward thinking. What was my favorite game music project, if I have one? I actually don't have a favorite. I am so grateful to be a part of this industry and to have had consistent work for 20 years and to, you know, have been able to touch so many lives. I get the best emails from folks that have stories of them being a kid and growing up with games that I worked on, you know, Eden World Builder and Bakery Story and other weird shit like that I did years ago. And that's what I love about it. I love the theatrics of music. So any of the games that I work on that have, you know, a ton of theatrics in it. So obviously Ark Knights and Wuthering Waves and anything that's songwriting oriented, still the Hearthstone stuff, because I do a ton of songwriting for that. I also really love working on Skywrite. I mean, Sky Children of Light is such a wonderfully emotive game that it's hard to not want to create something consistently evocative and emotional. What was the process and yet it wanes? I never heard of Chinese Jet Fusion Project. And oh, thank you. How did I synthesize the two genres? So that's Lee's song. And you want to hear some of my rap on that? I've never shared anything on that.
Oh, we got an exclusive.
It's a demo, so I think I can do that now, but I can play it from my computer. Let me see if I can find that Lee song. Lee MP3. I'm gonna just like search for it now and see if I even have it on my computer. Ark Lee. Let's see what we come up with. So Community Lee, oh no, that was for something else. So the process on that was they wanted this funk song, but then they're like, but incorporate Chinese instruments. So I was like, oh, Erhu would be like really freaking cool to do. And so I did. Well, I can give you like a little clip of this. Let's see what we got here. Okay, this is like my just demo version. Can you hear it at all, Rob?
Oh, yeah.
I'll give you just like a little taste of it. So I made a mistake. I thought it was supposed to be a vocal song. So I wrote this. So this is like a cover, okay? All keyboards so far. Nothing's real. And that's going to be me singing, so I apologize. Still has the same vibe. And then here's my terrible singing.
Got some version, but I keep it on track. It's a 2-to-1 conversion, but I always got your back. I'm the king of my creation, never sleeping in my station. It's a key to my elation. I'm predicting a conversation. Give in, it's a game you can't win. Doctor making waves, I got my own spin. Like a chef cooking tasty, and you can't shake your grin. Like a thief with the cause, take ambition over sin. Write my own book, ready, set, begin.
And then I had like this middle part. So I was doing like, I was trying to do like my friend's band, Green Scene from Wisconsin, is like this funk band, and then also Beastie Boys, and I kind of grew up with that, so that's kind of the thing. But you know, I wish they would have shipped this because I love this. Here we go. It's still about Lee, you know. And I had all my background vocals in there. I kept those in the original. We have them all in. I think I get another verse. I can't believe, like, anyway, so. Some guys have all the fun, yeah. Some guys have all the fun, yeah. Ride with me, I'm a real one. And they did a little breakdown, so.
Like I wanted to talk, but it would have cut the audio. So I was like being awkwardly quiet so people could hear the song without the audio cutting out.
Yeah, I had such a fun time with that. that I was so bummed when that wasn't released, you know, but I could never release that, you know, and I couldn't even put it unlisted. I wish I could, but out of respect for my client, I shouldn't have. I mean, I can't actually. But yeah, that's just, and I would never have anybody else record it because it's just me. So, it is what it is, but I'll leave you with that little peg there. No one's heard that. No one's heard my demos. In fact, all the other versions of the songs, everything that has ever come out has been me singing first. So there is an alternate universe version of every single other song that you've ever heard from Ark Knights. That's me doing every single part.
At least of the ones that you've made, of course.
Every single
song. Yeah. Like all the Hexany ones are just like, hey.
Yeah, I mean, there's a version of me doing, you know, like literally everything, even the female vocal stuff with big, like I do every single thing. So no, I did not hear the cry. Oh yeah.
We heard that earlier. We talked about it a little bit.
I guess I could. I mean, if I drop that vocal track just without this was faster than the original. I slowed it down so you wouldn't be able to lay it over. It makes everyone swallow curious about those. I'm certain I'm not the only one who wants to hear them now. I will never release to the world my demos. If not for any other reason than I am completely insecure about my singing, I wouldn't do it. You know what I mean? Like I couldn't really do it. But I love writing that. Like I was in a hip hop band in college, so I got to do a little rapping, and I've produced a ton of rap. But hey, if you ever catch me in person and you want to sit down and listen to some of my demos, I'll throw them in your earbuds and I'll let you hear anything. I just can't really put them out to the public, unfortunately. Yeah. Did I also pro shame beta? I don't know what that is. I'm not. You know this thing that makes everyone wildly curious about those? Like, I'm certain I'm not the only one who wants to hear. No, I know. I've gotten a lot of requests for those, but mostly my voice is meant for the studio. I guess there was that all song that we did that they kept my vocal in for most of it. So all the lead in that is me beyond the first opening section.
Weren't you in like, you were a theater kid though? Like you were in like productions of stuff as like lead characters at least once. I've seen a newspaper clipping.
That was in the 90s.
But the talent doesn't leave.
No, I still do a lot of voice acting where I can, like, and I'm doing voice acting direction, and when I like work on Disney projects, I'm directing the voice actors there and all that. And then for my daughter's high school, I'm going to be working on Macbeth with them in the fall, doing musical coaching for some of the elements of that show. So having that lead demo on Fast Pass, I will find you just to hear it again. That absolutely, come to California and I'll bust the whole thing out. I think you misunderstood the rhythm game question, at least from what I know. Rhythm games don't require separate files for each note. It depends on the game.
Yeah, some are weird.
And also, like in the olden days when we were doing, you know, Just Dance and all that, we absolutely did have to break down the rhythms note by note.
Yeah. Like watching the old videos, like talking about like Guitar Hero and how it was made. It's like they were tracking stuff on like E-kits that were then made to MIDI notes that had to be individualized for things to be accurate.
Yeah.
Very weird.
Absolutely. And some of that stuff, because it plays back, they don't just have like, you would think that what you should be doing is having the guitar track play through, and then the input is actually a gate. So when they press the input, it opens up the gate and allows the sound to come through. When they miss it, nothing comes through. But that wasn't really how the engines worked. You were actually triggering things. And that's, you know, it just depends on the game engine. Adam Gubman rewards unreleased demos. Do you have a specific kind of music when you take a break or just want to relax? You're the kind of person that once finished work and just put everything in silence. When I leave a Broadway show or a movie, I don't want to hear anything else. But in my car, like I have playlists that I make, and I love Ben Folds 5 and Dave Matthews Band and Fish and like John Mayer. I'm just like a massive John Mayer fan. I got to write something. You might know Morning Dew. from Ark Knights. That was like my John Mayer ripoff song.
Yeah, we did a cover of that one. That was the other one, aside from we did that first, then Phenomenal Agents, and that was one of those examples of me getting somebody involved, and then never really talking to them again. Was the singer of that project. Like, she's done well. I've kind of kept like low-key tabs on her career since then, but she's a VTuber, and she was just a lot smaller at that time, and now I don't know if we'd be able to collaborate with the scale she's kind of grown to, but also, it's shit happens.
Absolutely. And it's totally valid that you might only work with someone one time. I have a lot of talented artists that I work with all the time, and it's just that not every project can use everybody. And also, a lot of the companies I work for want a variety of vocalists, so I don't oftentimes get to reuse people. I've used Moana on a bunch of stuff, and my friend Sage, I've used him on a bunch of stuff. But also, those are the folks like Baraka May and my friend Holly and Amanda Aiken, who I'm using now in a lot of things. She tours with Final Fantasy and but she's very versatile. They're all very versatile vocalists. And like Vanjie, who I mentioned before, Vanjie's a session singer. They're all session singers. So we're not looking at just like them as an artist. We're looking at them as being a character, like a character in the game. So anyway, listen, everybody, I'm going to have to pop off. It's dinner time in shady California, and I'm going to go make sure my children are not emaciated and falling over from hunger in their rooms. But thank you, everybody, all 67 of you, for coming out. And Rob, always good to talk to you, buddy.
Yeah.
Keep me in the stuff.
Well, I'll see if we can get the other guys back onto another schedule and see what time that happens. I don't know. It could be like a few weeks. It might be a couple months. I don't know what their process is like, but sometimes things just happen. So,
Yeah, totally. Yeah. Totally, man. And I'll come back. I will come back. Well, yeah, thank you, everybody. Bye.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll do it again anytime. Thanks, Rob.
Yep. Thank you.
I'll see you later.
See you later. Bye. Woo. All right. Now we're all alone. I've got to change all my settings back. I haven't recorded any videos today at all. That was kind of my whole thing for today. I thought I heard my cat there for a second. Wow. Well, that was fun. We got an exclusive demo out of Adam. Didn't expect that one. You never expect anything with Adam. Bro just kind of shows up and does stuff. I didn't even interview. Like, don't call that an interview. That was more like a follow-up. Like, we hadn't talked on a call, and I think the last time we did was the last time we actually had that first interview, which was like almost 2 years ago now. So like, it's been a while. We've still talked between then, but mostly text chats. But we will have to see what happens with the other three guys. For those who didn't hear me talk about that earlier, they just had an unfortunate reality of basically PR got in the way, and we're like, okay, we need to get some clarifications from the studio that they work for in order to actually talk in a more like, what's the word I'm looking for? I guess professional manner. They've got some red tape that they need to work on as well. So I will definitely be working on getting that done. We just didn't know that was going to be a thing. So surprises, especially right in the last moment, that's kind of unfortunate. But we try, and we will be talking with the other three at some point. We just have to see exactly how long it'll take. I plan to do this with a lot of people, by the way. Like, all the people I've had prior interviews for, I like to follow back up and just see how they're doing after like a year or so. Like, nothing really specific, but just seeing how things have changed, see what the current work they're doing, like how things are functioning in their daily lives. So I'm sure I'll be getting to more. There's more that will be coming. I can officially give you guys another teaser. This one will not be happening for a while, mind you, but I will be talking to Camellia at some point near the end of the year. The reason that it's going to be at the end of the year is due to scheduling issues, but I've already talked with Camellia, and I will be doing one of my interview pieces with Camellia. So there's other people as well that I'm currently in conversation with. I just don't know when exactly they'll be happening. They might be happening sooner. But Camellia has already gotten back to me. It said that we just have to wait for him to get past his current workload. So we will be doing that, and that'll be fun. It'll give me a lot more time to hear more of his music, because we haven't gotten that many compared to like Adam or the other guys from Hexany. So it's like, there's going to be more to talk about by the time we get there. But also more people that some of you might be like, what? Who? What? How did you? It's like, I don't know. Legitimately, whenever I get an interview with somebody, I don't know. I don't know how it worked. I don't know how people keep going, oh yeah, okay, sure. I just show up. I don't know what I'm doing, truly. I don't know how you guys all found me. I don't know how to be a YouTuber. I just showed up and started yapping, and I guess people started listening. But yeah, so like I want to do more interview stuff. I miss doing more interviews because I started doing those with the hopes that I would be able to continue doing them more often, but then it just fell off. But I'm trying to get back into those now that this is my full-time gig. We will see how things go. And I must be likable. I don't know about that. I think people are just afraid to say no. But I'll take advantage of their kindness. Nah, you're probably right. I just don't see myself that way for the same reasons as earlier. I don't think I'm unlikable, but I do think I yap so much that I annoy a lot of people. Some of you probably have felt that, where you're just like, I'm not going to watch this dude talk for 10 minutes after a reaction. I'm out of here. And that's the exact vibe I feel like I give off to the world. But hey, if people keep wanting to talk to me for interviews, I will gladly accept and graciously take their hand into a conversation. But yeah, I do want to do more things. And I do have some other DMs out there. I just need to make sure that things actually get done. That's the best way I can word that. You've watched the videos for the app sesh. You are, I think, part of the very small minority there. So many people are just like, hey, reaction. I've seen my stats. I see when you guys click off. I know better. Like, people who watch all the way through, that's a minority, for sure. The vast majority of people end after the first, 4 minutes of most videos. I can't blame them. I know I'm a yapper. Peak teaser, we're gonna get things. I don't know. If Adam gets a hold of me too with doing something, I will let you guys know, but obviously I can't let you know too much if it's something else. So we'll see. But we talked about that last time we talked, but it was just more of a, hey, maybe, but I was also a different place with my drumming now. I have a more consistent and reliable form of recording, so we can actually do that now. Yeah, more in the middle of the song than after the song. Well, then nobody would watch ever. Finally became part of the 1%. Oh, God. Started from the bottom, now we're here. I don't know if I'm going to be an Ark Knights musician. I will leave that up to Adam, whether he wants to use me on an Ark Knights thing or some other project. I'll just be ecstatic to work with him on something. I'll do my best. But even right now with I don't have the funds, honestly, to do another cover and actually pay the musicians that help me out. Yeah, I'm friends with all of them, but I don't want to make them work for free either. That's just not fair. So that's why I haven't done another full band cover since Phenomenal Agents. That one cost multiple hundreds of dollars by the time we were done. And I don't know when or if I'm going to be able to do more of those. Time will tell. But I can't just, I've still got to pay rent. So, yeah, Meatball got his cameo, now it's my turn. Yeah, but Meatball's talented. No, no, just kidding. He's talented, of course, but it's just dependent on what's available, what songs are actually being made, and if I fit. They should pay me to yap. Create a few thousand accounts, skip straight to the app, and watch reaction only on my main. That wouldn't change the stats, but go for it if you want to. Got to get around to put it. Yeah, covers are just a lot of work in general. I want to do. I've got to do those drum, the full drum covers of those songs I have. 20 gift memberships. Good Lord. Well, thank you. Thank you for that. That'll help fund something. I've been blessed. I've been blessed by Comey. Let's go. Dude, holy shit. Oh my god. I feel like I have to do something to like celebrate that, but I don't have anything. I'll drink to that. It's water. I don't like alcohol. I don't have anything else to offer in these trying times. Local Ark wallet? Is that like a thing that Comey is? Is Comey Era the local Ark wallet? Just some blasting. Not in these pants. Hold on. Not in these. I mean, well, they're hiked up over my knee right now. I got plaids on. I be chilling. I don't have to get dressed anymore. I don't leave the house. I mow in my night clothes and then I go back inside for another week. I have officially become XQC. I have not, by the way. I know how to take a shower. Hey, okay. Again? Another 20. Again, Comey, Jesus Christ. Stop it. Pay your rent, not mine. What the hell is all that? Help fund a project, you say? Well, I don't know what it's gonna be. You can't just throw money not knowing what's gonna be happening. You know, this is not gonna be what it is, mind you, because this would be way too expensive. But, still on my Patreon, I think I have this mentioned in my bio, but, there was an animation pilot that I was working on for a couple of years. I never ended up doing anything with it. And I was like, hey, maybe YouTube can help me fund that at some point down the line. And I could get back into doing that. But I've shelved it so hard. It's like back behind Mom's Bible. You know, how far back it is. It's shelved so hard. I would love to finish it, but it would take so much money and time. And I don't have that. And we're not going to be doing that. I'm not going to be using this on that. As much as I appreciate Comey doing 40 gifted, it's not worth the time to take on that project right now. Maybe someday, but it's not really a thing for me anymore. I'm basically no longer an animator at this point either. So that's another factor. It's like I'm so out of practice, I'd basically have to hire a whole team, including writers, because I'm not a good writer. At least in that respect, I can write scripts fine, but writing for narrative is so different. Yeah, more than half the people got gifted subs all at once. It's kind of nuts. We could do one, like, yeah, that's a maybe someday sort of project. It would be nice to do, but I don't know if it ever will be worth it. Maybe if the industry comes back, like, the animation industry has been trying to do its thing and come back slightly, but there's still too much negativity in that side of the creative field, and it sucks because animators deserve more, but there's been a lot of issues. So next Ark Knights event, CN will be Hollywood inspired. Might get some interesting songs. Ooh. Oh god, Ark Knights Hollywood inspired. That could be so many things. That'd be neat to be like God, they could do like West Coast hip hop. That'd be sick. Yeah, maybe that is one of the things that Adam was teasing. Maybe. We'll see. You don't cover only Ark Knights, but I do appreciate you in general. Yeah, like, obviously I can't, like, if I were just to cover the one thing, that would be kind of boring for, like, everyone else. Like, I like to cover everything I can. I like games, I like music, I'm just afraid to play them. But also, like I said earlier in the stream, I'm probably going to start playing some of those games like on streams and do that because like I have been wanting to for like over a year. It's just a matter of letting my brain get to this spot where I can actually commit to it. And right now I'm, side note here, actually taking free Harvard classes for learning Python. That's kind of not really relevant to anything I do on the channel, but I'm trying to expand my skill sets in multiple fields so I can do things. I know a little bit of Python, but not a lot. So I want to do more. And Harvard was cool enough to just do a bunch of like public classes recently that people can just join. So I decided to do that. And they're accredited classes too. Like you can pay for the accreditation. I'm just not going to bother. But I've got so many little things I like to do and can do, but just I'm not great at all of them. I'm a jack of all trades, master of none person 100% of the way. But there are certain things like Python and coding in general that I would like to be able to dive more into and get a little bit more familiar with. But yeah, like I want to do things, but I know like gacha games, they can take up a lot of time depending on the gameplay as well. There's a bunch of shit. I would like to do more, but also even just streaming more. I wanted to stream more, but then like recently, for those who missed all that shit, my computer basically imploded. And I found out it was because of Stream Elements and OBS not working well. With something, it just completely flatlined, and it killed like a bunch of recordings I did a couple days back. And I had to uninstall and reinstall a bunch of stuff. I've done a bunch of driver updates. I updated my BIOS and everything, and hopefully it's all fixed now so I can actually record shit. But I didn't know. So now we're done though. So yeah, hopefully I can get back to doing normal drum recordings and like getting things out. It's a bummer not being able to like do stuff that you promise and want to. It sucks. So I want to get those shorts out. I want to do more drums. I recorded like 3 videos and they all got lost because of that bet. I should show you guys what that sounds like because it sounds awful. Hold on. Let me just play this for you to hear. Did I delete them already? I did. Did I empty the recycling bin of them? I might have. No, they're still in there. Maybe? Yeah, they're still in there. Okay, cool. Let me restore a random one. See what happens here. I think that's one of the ones. This sounds weird. It doesn't even sound crunchy. It's like... It's kind of bad, and by bad I mean really bad. That's the drums. This is the isolated drums. I don't know what the hell happened. I wish I could tell you, but that's what happened to like a solid hour of my life. Sounds like that. I was just trying to play one of, I think it was, I want to say it was one of the PGR songs. It's better now. I fixed it, but that was drums. I'm like, can I show the screen? Oh, well, got to readjust this. But, yeah, like, it's literally... It's just... It makes no sense. I don't get it. So yeah. What's the voice? Oh, the voice. I never released that, did I? I think that was just my voice like actually giving out. I'm gonna mute just in case it is something different than I'm thinking. Yeah, it was just literally me like starting and my voice giving out, and I thought it was funny. Yeah, oh my god, Jesus Christ. Hello, big me. Let me scale that back down. Holy shit. But it's like, hey, what's up? My god. What the fuck? It just made me laugh. This was like months ago. Oh, what the shit was that? Okay, fuck me. That's all that was. That happens a lot. Like, not that specifically. That was during a week where I was like just getting out of a sickness. Like I had a head cold. So it just happened right at the start of the video. I was like, what the fuck? I was so mad too. Cause like that was happening constantly. Like that was happening all the time. And I was clearing out my throat. I got to this point where I could kind of feel it happening. The second I started to talk, it triggered again. And I was like, Jesus Christ. Like, come on. Now I'm fine. But like as a certified yapper, when your Yaponomics degree gets met by something that egregious, you're just like, fuck. Any way to request song reactions other than Patreon? No, there's too many people nowadays, unfortunately. I have to limit it. So yeah, the only real way to do that is doing Patreon or YouTube memberships, but there the tier is there, unfortunately. The only other option is making a comment on a video and hoping that enough people like it that I get to that next time, but that's usually restricted just to the topic and the game that I'm talking about that day. But yeah, like if I left them open, there would be so many people, and I'm already how many behind am I? I have, let me count these all out on the queue that I've got for just the Patreon and YouTube membership. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25 that I have yet to get to. And those are all brand new, like within the last month and a half or so. So I'll be doing this daily membership request thing for at least a month, because nobody can allow me to sleep. But before that, it was dating back to like November. And when I went full-time on YouTube, I tackled all of those. I was literally like 5 months behind on videos. So yeah, I'm going to be limiting that more soon, because right now there's really not a limitation on how many people can request, which was fine until now. Until so many people started showing up, like even the current list of people in the producer queue are so like it's long. People are constantly there. It's good having more content, but also I don't like making people wait for like months. There are people that I got to the guaranteed request videos that had been unsubscribed from me for about 3 or 4 months by the time I got to their video, which sucks. Yeah, and that's currently the issue, Zoe, is that producers are able to request more than one. That's kind of what the problem is. So I'll be limiting it probably. But yeah, is still the same on that list? No, actually. But also that's one of those ones where people just need to request it enough. I don't know. I was supposed to record Ark Knights tonight. I'm not recording them tonight. I'll have like no videos tonight because I've been busy all day. With other crap and dealing with that. But let me see what the video would have been had I done it. Let's find out, shall we? Let's go to my YouTube studio and discover what would have been the video for today. At least for the recording. It's too late now to record. I'll be going way past midnight. 56. That's not really a request. That's just a comment. See here. Some songs from IS5. Charlie Wiltshire put in some stuff from Toho, which I've listened to some Toho stuff in the past, but I've never like done reactions on them. I do know quite a bit of Toho stuff, just not a lot of it. But that's also not Ark Knights, so it probably wouldn't have been that. There's really not like a standout one in here. So maybe it would have been something random. Well, there's that. We'll never know. Now you'll know tomorrow when I get back into recording. For days like this that have so much stuff, it's like I need to like take a day when I do other things like this. Toho has way too much music. I'll never get to all of Toho. But like recently too, I've been doing less of like Blue Archive and Girls Frontline stuff because frankly nobody watches it. Like, it's just comparatively to the rest, and given that this is my full-time job, I have to pay attention to numbers, and nobody watches those compared to other games that I cover, so I just give them less of a focus when I have other stuff to get to. Favorite Ark Knights song? That is an impossible question. There are so many good fucking songs from Ark Knights. I usually am not the type of person to have a favorite song of any sort. I'd have to revisit a lot of Ark Knights stuff in order to pick a favorite. There's too many that I've listened to recently that I feel would get that spot, but then I also know there are songs that I love and haven't heard in like a year or two. So, I don't know if I could pick one. Watching VTuber songs. I used to watch VTuber stuff, but then the copyright gods kept striking me down, so I can't really do them anymore, unfortunately. Every single, like, unless they're completely indie, which is impossible, basically, at this point in VTubing, and still be able to make a song, I can't, because they're all owned by some bigger company that has deep pockets and a pistol pointed right at my skull. So I can't do anything from those, and it's really unfortunate. Do a ranking stream? Well, I did all the well, no, I was about to say battle plan, the contingency contracts recently. Well, not recently. It was like a year and a half ago. But I did a ranking on those just because that's like a selection of music that I can actually categorize a little bit better. But that was also before Extinguished Sins came out, and that was pretty sick, and that would be at the top now. So I do not play any gachas. No, I don't really play any games at this current point in time. I have Rivals on my screen. It's a shortcut, but I haven't played it in like 2-3 weeks now. I'll probably end up doing a reaction to Synesthesia at some point. I've been meaning to, but there's so many things that people want me to get to as well. It's just like, I'll probably do a live stream for it like I usually do. There's a Honkai one that people want me to get to as well that people have been bugging me for a while. And I keep going, I need to do that, and then I just don't do that. So I need to do that. When Vina finishes the Herculean task of making the list of all my reactions, you should rank them all. Oh, I would have to re-listen to over half of them. That's like, we're talking, for those who haven't seen the number or done the math on that, I've done over 800 reaction videos. That's just reaction videos since I started. And that's a lot of songs. So Vina has a lot to do. And this all stemmed from me asking Vina casually if they would just get together the rhythm game music that I've done reactions to. And Vina was like, no, I want to do more. And here we are. And now she's getting literally every single video and every detail on every video set up and tracked for some reason. So we'll see whenever that actually gets done. Wild. Wait a minute. Silver Pals. I have not. I don't even. That name doesn't even ring a bell. So no, I have no clue about that actually. Put Epo at the top. We'll see if I were to ever rank them all. Masochist, probably Gacham player. Actually, rhythm game player. So yeah. What headphones do I use? I think these are the M40Xs. Yeah, ATH M40X Audio Technica. These are, in my opinion, one of, if not the most well-balanced over-the-ear headphones you can get, especially for the price range. They are insanely good. And, like, if you see the M50s, don't touch them. These are actually ranked better by a lot of people, including myself. I've used the M50s before, and these feel like they've got more fullness to them. Weirdly. I don't know how else to explain that, but they nailed it with, like, the drivers in these headphones. They are really good. Why did my light turn on? There's a ghost. Turn that back off real quick. It's awkward. I don't like that people could see me. There we go. Currently at like 380. Yeah, it's still a whole year's of video. Yep. Plenty of work for Vina there. And yeah, like, by all means, if you want to call in Zen Poppy to do stuff for that, go for it. The ghost now turns on my lights. I mean, like, I could change, like, I have a custom WLED back here on my wall. That's what, like, runs all that. So, like, I can make this whatever color I want at any time. Let's do a cool effect. Let's blink rainbow. Whee! For no apparent reason, breathe. Candle. Chase rainbow. I can just do whatever the hell I want. It's fun. DJ light. It's fun to just mess with these sometimes. Glitter. Ooh. Oh, it's that one that, like, sparkles. That makes sense. Yeah, that's fun. But I don't tend to, like, mess with them. I just leave them white because it's easier and it looks better for the aesthetic I like. Anyway. Did I change it? No, I did. I don't think I said it. No, I did. Okay. I thought I saw something moving back there on the lights. I was like, what the hell? Any plans for the potential next drum stream? Now that I have the audio problems fixed, what day is it today? Tuesday? Yeah, I forget what day of the week it is at this point. End of this week, like Friday probably, Friday, Saturday. Hi, Xena. What's up, baby? Oh, cat's here. Oh, there the baby. Cat has arrived. Oh, she's crawling on me. Okay. She does this. Xena. Where are you, goofball? She's such a mess, dude. It's starting to get close to feeding time, so she's getting all squishy. She likes my beard. I know. Hi, baby. Oh my god. Good. Why every time? Sometimes she'll just, like, lay between my shoulders too, but she's too hungry for that right now. She's such an idiot. This is the cat that will come in and bug me. My other cat doesn't come in here much. But he does start to get a little bit more, what's the word I'm looking for? Angry, maybe? When food starts to happen, he's a fat boy. I mean, he's not, like, super fat, but he's got a fat mentality. Oh, man. Well, yeah, I think that we probably should end the stream here. It's been 2 hours. Adam's been gone for like half an hour. So, yeah. I promise I'll be doing more of these. Like I said, I've got other plans for other interviews. We'll see if we can get the Hexany guys back on the line and actually have them talk at some point. We will see. Given the PR issue, I feel like we'll probably have to, like, set up actual questions for Q&A there just so we can have some full transparency. So I will let you guys all know that, especially those who are in the memberships at that time usually get to ask at least first. But I don't think that'll be a live Q&A thing. It'll probably be a live stream, but I don't know if I'll be able to do a live Q&A due to those restrictions. We will see. But yeah, I'm gonna get out of here. I will see you all whenever I see you again, probably within the gap of space of another day. But yeah, anyway, goodbye!